Okay, I would like to start this series playing against lichess bots of increasing difficulty. We start with this one, Bernstein 2-ply, with a rating of 1174. We're going to play a rapid game. In fact, if you want to improve at chess, I suggest playing rapid with increments so that you have enough time to properly calculate. So let's go. Challenge 1510 standard rated. So let's see. E4, what do we play? Let's do E5. Okay, this is already a move that I'm not seeing very often, and there's something wrong with this. I can just kick this bishop. So C6 is an option, with the idea of playing D5 to control the center. Thing is, C6, say he stays here. If I play D5, he's going to take and use the pin. A little bit annoying. At that point, I could do this one and get the pawn back this way. Okay. Another option is simply A6, or just ignore it and play a developing move like knight F6, so for example. Just ignore it and play this one or this one, you know. But simplest is perhaps just A6. But C6 I like because it's the most ambitious, which is to play in the center. I know it's a lot about the second move, but that move will be important in the game. So if I can make this work, let's say he wants to use this pin, let's recalculate. D takes, I can take with the queen, so there is that. Okay, so I can at least bail and take with the queen, and otherwise I might just have this, and then this, and I have this pawn duo, and I'm doing really well. I think it's a safe move. Let's just double check that there are no tricks, no checks, no captures, nothing. Okay, so I think we're safe here. Okay, he doesn't even try bishop a4, so it makes it even easier, and we can just, let's see. Two defenders, two attackers, I think we can just push. Any tricks? Let's just verify. What if, no, he cannot do that. We would just take the bishop. So let's see. Takes, bishop still hangs, has to move. He can give me a check. I can just do this. And he doesn't really have a follow-up. I mean, yeah, he can do that, use the pin to hit this pawn. But that's not a problem. At the very least, I can defend with bishop and develop. I think I'm doing good here. I can pre-move this. As expected, bishop check. I can block with the knight, with the bishop. It's a question of choice. I mean, obviously, I don't want to move the king or block with the queen. Knight c6, bishop d7. Honestly, I don't know, but when in doubt, play the move that respects the opening principles, which is develop your pieces starting with knights. When not sure, just choose the most normal looking move. Okay, so d5 is hit, but it's also defended, but it also means I can't play a move like this because it would cut the protection of the d5 square. So that's something worth noting. I can just develop like this, but I have to anticipate that he will try to attack my d4 pawn. Sorry, my e5 pawn. I'm just anticipating some tricks like hitting this one. So let's see, if I kick the knight immediately, can I just kick his knight immediately? Like, why can't I just do that? In fact, let's do that. Where does he go? Here, it's not looking very good for him. I'm not worried about that at all. Here, also not. At the very least, I have this, but most likely I have something like this. I think I can just push. Okay. So f5 is a bit much. I mean, f5 weakens my king. Do I really want to allow this kind of nonsense? Yes, it works. He's got two pieces hanging in this line, but he's not going to go for that. We have to assume that our opponent will not blunder. Bishop f5, developing with tempo, and then what does he do? This, which is a move he wants to do anyway, so we're not really gaining a tempo here. But that's okay, right? I can still continue with this. And he has to defend again, perhaps with this one. Okay, I think it's fine. It's not ambitious, it's safe, no tricks, no checks, captures. I don't think I have tricks. He's got a hanging piece here, but I can't. I mean, if I had a check, it would be amazing, but I don't. Actually, let's see. If he does this, doesn't he have a problem here? Yeah, he does. Which means he's not going to do that. Let's see. This, he's probably going to do that one. Yeah, he's got this one. Okay, let's start with this. Okay. Okay, obviously we take with the queen. No need to be fancy there. Is he threatening something? Well, he's defending his bishop that was loose before, but he's not threatening anything. Bishop d7, do I really want to long castle here? Probably not, because my queen will be in the way of an eventual pawn storm here, right? So I don't think that's realistic. My weak spot is perhaps here, especially because there's already a pin being set up. So if I do this, should I be worried about something like this? Notice that the knight's pinned, so I'm not defending d4. I think I can just castle in this line. And eventually with the rook on e8, yeah, I will just take space in the center and push his pieces away. I think that's fine. I don't know if it's the most precise, but we don't need to play in the most precise way at this level just yet. I would like to play e4 in good conditions. You know, take and then something needs to take, so probably a rook, which means I have to castle. He's not threatening anything here, not really, but then it means perhaps this will start creating some g5 threats. But I think for the moment I'm safe to just castle. Okay, so he's hitting my knight twice. I have to be a bit careful here. I can defend it like this, simple and solid. And it's also a healthy move because it connects my rook. So let's just do that. Do I have tricks? Like, can I hit his queen? Yes, he cannot take with the queen for sure. If he takes here, I take his queens, and you know he takes back, but still he loses two. It's two minors against the queen, so I'm still doing good in this line. So if this, he has to move the queen, and then I can defend with the rook. So in a way, I'm like gaining a tempo rather than defending passively like this. I'd rather be more active and defend like that and have my rook on a semi-open file. This feels more correct. Okay. So he's really insisting on this. He wants to... Okay. So rook c8 is simple enough. But can I do better than that? Like, I can do this, but he's just gonna come back. And I don't really have a follow-up. So I think, when in doubt, play some solid moves that improve your position and do not create any tactical risks. And I think rook c8 is a healthy move. So I can get rid of this b5 bishop by playing a6, for example. a6, so let's say a6, if he takes, I take with the rook, that's good for me. But a6, if he does this, should I be worried about something like this? And then lining up against f7? No, because I've got, at the very least I have this, so I don't think this is going anywhere. I don't know, somehow I want something more nasty, something that exploits the misplacement of the queen. Can I trap this queen somehow? Not really, because the queen problem with trapping the queen is it has so many squares to flee to. It's just endless. Even if I could somehow attack this queen where it is, without losing any square control, I still would have to... Yeah, so that's not very realistic. Perhaps what is more realistic is to try to open the center while his king... Yeah, I think that's more to the point. Because his king's still in the center, he's one move away from long castle. If I could somehow... If I can just play this, what if I play this? So yes, on paper I'm losing a pawn because, you know, two defenders, one attackers. But let's check that. If he takes, I take anyway, and he can take, but then I've got this one. Yes, I think I can just do that. I almost missed a completely winning move here. Let's just check. No tricks, like no... Yeah, he can insert this. Does it change anything? I think I can just take like this, and the problem remains the same. Yeah, okay. I think this is a good move. And here I calculated this one. So takes, and there's no queen takes because of rook e8. Any tricks? So takes, can he insert some annoying intermediate moves like that? Well, at the very least I would have this. Yeah, reinforcing the bishop and hitting c2. And there's still some rooks. Yeah, I think that's good for me. Okay, so he just blunders. So we said rook here is game over. Let's just double check because this move just wins on the spot if it works. So we have to be sure that it works. So where are the tricks? So queen takes e8, rook takes e8. Good. I'm winning easily. Any bishop g4? No. Yeah, I think that's it. He can take the bishop. I don't care about that. Yeah, I think it's game over. Yes, sure, he can take that, but it doesn't change anything. Oh, what? He doesn't even take the rook? He just gives me a free queen instead of queen for rook? Okay, so should I take it? I mean, unless I've got a checkmate, which I don't see, I think I just take it. Okay, so now we have an overwhelming material advantage. The only thing is to convert this is to make sure that we don't give him any piece activity. So this is a good start, I think. I mean, could this be a problem? Not really. What else could we do? We could even do this. With the idea of takes, so I still keep this file but also force a piece exchange. But let's calculate. If takes, okay, check. Say he moves his king, which is where he wants to put it anyway. Now this pawn is on the double attack and is defended twice, and I can push c5, I can double rooks, I can... Yeah, I think I'm doing good in this line. I don't know if it's the most precise, but it's precise enough to win the game without taking much risk. So let's go for that. We could double, we could play c5, but I think it's too early. The pawn is not attacked yet. I mean, two attackers, two defenders, we're good to go. Any tricks like that? Yeah, I still have this one. So I think even that, I don't even lose a pawn. I think we want to open against his king, so this is probably a mistake, because if I take that, I mean, if he takes this, his king's in shambles, plus this file becomes open. Yeah, okay, this is game over. But before celebrating victory, we need to be really careful about one thing: the back rank mate. It could be... I mean, it can happen so easily. Don't forget that this king is currently sitting in a mating net. All it takes is a rook on the 8th rank and we lose the game. So how about, given that it's it's not a time-sensitive issue, right? We have all the time in the world to win this game. We can just play a move like this, or like this. In fact, I like this one because it restricts the knight by removing these squares, and also it helps the king eventually move towards the center of the board. And there's really no risk of weakening this diagonal. There's no light square bishop or queen. Of course, we can also just continue, because he's going to have to defend this pawn. Suppose he does this one. Okay, I think we can start with this, but let's keep f6 in our pocket. Okay, he just gives me a rook here. Notice this tactic, hitting the king and the rook. And he tricks. Check. Has to move the king, can't even... he can block with the rook, but I just take it. Okay. So I just take the rook. Well, actually, do I need to take the rook, or can I even deliver a checkmate immediately? I can be fancy. I can play this. And this is... no, it's not checkmate. Ooh, almost blundered. The rook can come back. Oh, wow. Well, I'm still winning because of the material advantage, but this is such an easy mistake to make. Retreating moves are often missed. I think the simplest is to just play this one, and now we are threatening mate. Okay, he removes the mate threat. It's not mate, but he's still... Yeah, I mean, there's a million ways to win this. I think we can just do this and force liquidation. You know, he can take with the knight. We can take, he can take, and then there's a background threat. Let's just do that. There's no rush. We don't need to win quickly. First of all, what happens if we do this? Isn't it checkmate? Because the king can't move. Only move. We take it, and it's mate. Am I missing something? Well, looks like a safe move. This is mate. Okay. Let's look at the analysis and see what Stockfish has to say about this game. Drum roll, drum roll. Okay, the endgame looks clean. Middle. Okay, I think it's quite a clean game, but to be honest, you shouldn't get overexcited about statistics like this. 94%. It looks good, but don't forget, I'm playing against weak opposition, so my opponent doesn't really create tactical problems for me that are hard to solve, which means that they're not creating, ways for me to blunder. I'm really in control of this game, so obviously accuracy is high. It doesn't mean that I played perfectly. If you look at it in details with a computer, you'll find a lot of ways that this game could have been improved, but okay. Overall, I think it's a fairly clean game. Let's just quickly look at these two inaccuracies. Okay, so this move is validated by the computer, and it's close to the best move. Okay, so far so good. Interesting. I thought about this during the game. I think I said something like, let's not get fancy. We could play with this pawn structure and king in the center and do some weird stuff. Actually, Stockfish likes this weird stuff. It's hard to understand why immediately. Stockfish thinks this is great. Why? So it was inaccurate to take like this. Honestly, this is hard to understand. So if I do this, what can he do? Queen e2, bishop d6, knight f3. Okay, so just normal development. I'm still better, but I'm not gaining a significant advantage. So where is this significant advantage after g takes f6? Like, I think a good way to look at this is, what exactly am I threatening? Let's imagine it's black's turn to play. I think it's a good way to, when you don't understand computer lines, You can ask the computer by clicking on this red target. If it's black's turn to play again a second time, what is the threat? The threat is this. Hitting this and this. And if queen here, we take this, but there is this. Let's see. Queen d5, bishop e2. He could take on c6, but that's good for us. Oh, okay, I think this is quite a computery way of playing. I'm not sure I fully agree with Stockfish here. It's probably good, you know, maybe the computer will argue that the G file is good for black, this diagonal, and okay, perhaps objectively it's better, but from a human point of view, I don't think it's easy to play like that. It's not easy to play like that with your king in the center, so I'm quite happy with my decision. Okay, that was fine. Okay, so that was apparently a blunder. It was not the most precise way. So, okay, bishop f5 is reasonable. It's the second best move, but the first best move is this one. Okay. This actually removes squares for him. Although, bishop f5, queen b7, it's not so clear. Ah, no, sorry. This one threatens here, of course. So it gains a tempo. And then queen e2, the queen has nothing better to do than to defend. Because king d1, of course, he doesn't want to play. So queen e2, okay. Okay, makes sense. Okay, that was a interesting one. Anyway, not marked as an inaccuracy, still just an idea I didn't have. Okay, again, this is the best move, knight b4. Somehow I sensed that there was something about knight b4, but I completely missed this. And yet it's so obvious. But it just felt right. It just felt like a good square for the knight, but I completely missed the c2. Because if I play this, he's got a problem here on c2. So let's say, okay, queen f3 is weird because it doesn't defend c2. Let's say he does this. Yeah, but you have to calculate the line a bit further. It's not completely obvious because there's still, like, in order to claim an advantage, you really need to calculate the line all the way. Like, for example, what's wrong with queen takes? Okay, I'm not sure. There's rook c8. There is some rook c8 and there is some knight g6, queen g6, sorry. With the double attack here and here. And the king can't attend both. Wow. Okay, to be honest, this knight, yeah, okay, inaccurate, and knight b4 was best. But the reason knight b4 is best is not simple, because it's this, hitting this, then this, you know, this, let's just redo the line. This, and then this one, and then he still has this, and you have to take, and he can't take with the queen because of rook c8. So then he has to take like this, and finally you have your threat. You know, at the end of all this, I mean, not just threat, but unstoppable threats. Because c2 and g2 hang. And it makes sense that the best move is this one, because the most important threat is this one. But then there is this. Hitting the rook. And if the rook moves, they will also, okay, there's at least an exchange. You win an exchange like this, but by hitting this. So you sack the knight and take the rook. And it's not over because then this hangs. Okay, so yeah, makes sense. This is the best move to defend here while developing a piece. And it should be obvious now that this is completely losing for white. But okay, if you look at this from the beginning of the line, from knight b4, takes quite a bit of, I mean, it takes a bit of calculation to really understand what is so strong about knight b4 and why it's better than bishop f5. So I'm not too concerned about missing knight b4, but it is interesting to understand the computer line. Okay, so there we go.